everyone. Today we are going to study the modern classification of organism. So first we have to understand what are the basis of classification. So first basis of classification is cellular organization. On this basis it has divided into two types, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Prokaryotic means those organisms which don't have well-defined nucleus and have only organelles, that is ribosome, while the eukaryotic organisms have well-defined organelles and perform their function very efficiently. Next is the body organization. On the basis of body organizations, the animals are divided into two types, unicellular and multicellular. As the name suggests, unicellular organisms are those organisms which have only one cell. Example is like amoeba. Then second is multicellular organism, which means that organisms have many cells. Example is like humans. In unicellular organism, there is no division of labor. While in multicellular organism, there is division of labor. We can see organ system level of organization. So, we are going to classify organisms on these bases. So this is organism is classified into two types. First is prokaryotic and second is eukaryotic. So this is on the basis of cellular organization. The organisms which are prokaryotic are classified as monera. Now, the organisms which are eukaryotic are further classified into two, that is unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular and multicellular. Now, the eukaryotic unicellular organisms are known as protista, while the multicellular organisms are further divided into two categories, that is have cell wall and don't have cell wall. Those organisms which are eukaryotic, multicellular and don't have cell wall are called as animalia. Like human beings, we don't have any cell wall present, while those which have cell wall are further classified into two categories. This is heterotrophs and second is autotrophs. So, the heterotrophs organisms is called fungi that derive their nutrition from other organisms, and the autotrophs are all the green plants, that is known as plantae, that make their own food. So, this is how the organisms are classified. So, we can see there are basically five classification of organism. First is monera, second is protista, third is animalia, fourth is fungi and fifth is plantae. So now we are going to understand every single basis of classification in detail. So first of all, it is monera. So the body organization of the monera is unicellular, and these organisms are prokaryotic organisms. Means that they don't have any defined nucleus and don't have any cell organelle except ribosomes, and these organisms are made up of only one cell and the whole cell perform all the function of their life. Now next is our cell wall. So the monera have the cell wall in the monera is present and absent. Why did I said the present and absent? Because mostly the monera have cell wall present in them, while there is a case in which the cell wall is absent, that is mycoplasma. Mycoplasma is a bacteria that is very small and it is also known as PPLO. Even it is the smallest cell on the whole earth. So mostly they have present while some have absent, that is mycoplasma. And if they have present, then what material that is made? Very important, that is peptidoglycan. The cell wall of Monera is made up of peptidoglycan. Basically, Monera are those organisms are bacteria. All the bacteria in the world are known as Monera. All the harmful bacteria, even the useful bacteria, are classified under the Monera group. So, the cell wall of the Monera is made up of peptidoglycan. Next is our the mode of nutrition. The mode of nutrition of Monera is heterotrophic and autotrophic. Now the same thing. Some are the most of the Monera are heterotrophic, while some of them are also autotrophic. Examples of autotrophic Monera are like cyanobacteria, blue-green algae, Anabina, nostoc, etc. So, Monera have heterotrophic mode of nutrition and as well as autotrophic mode of nutrition. Some examples of Monera, that is also known as bacteria, are like lactobacillus bacteria, the same bacteria that helps us in the formation of curds. And the second is like Anabina, nostoc, rhizobium bacteria that help in fixing the nitrogen from the atmosphere. These all are the organism bacteria that are, some of them are helpful to us and some are that cause diseases to us. Now moving to next is our protista. Now next is protista. So the cellular organization of protista is also a unicellular organism. Unicellular means that it has only one cell present. Now next is body organization. So this protista has further developed and it has become eukaryotic organism. So if someone asked the difference between Monera and protista, that is, the Monera is a prokaryotic organism while the protista is a eukaryotic organism, means it has a well-defined nucleus. Now next is cell wall. In protista, the cell wall is absent in protista. Now next absent, while in one case it is present also, that is diatoms. Diatoms is the only protista that has cell wall present in them. Now next is mode of nutrition. So mostly the protista are heterotrophic while some are also autotrophic. Examples of autotrophic is like Euglena. Euglena is an protista that is autotrophic. So the examples of protista that we hear are like amoeba, paramecium, Euglena, trypanosoma, and the malaria causing protista that is known as Plasmodium, etc. are all the examples of protista. Basically, protista in common language we say it as protozoas. Now next, moving to next is our fungi. So the cellular organization of fungi is multicellular as well as unicellular. Some fungi are multicellular while some are unicellular. Example of multicellular fungi is like yeast. Examples of multicellular fungi is mushroom, while the example of unicellular is like yeast. Mushroom is very famous example of fungi. Now next is body organization. So these organisms are eukaryotic as well as prokaryotic. These organisms are eukaryotic organisms. Now the cell wall in the fungi is present and it is made up of very important, that is made up of chitin. It is a hard sugary substance. It is made up of chitin. And the mode of nutrition in fungi is heterotrophic. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition is further divided into two types. First is our first is parasitic and second is our saprophytic. In saprophytic means the host of the fungi is dead, while in parasite the host of the fungi will be living. Now examples of fungi is like mushrooms, yeast, and mushrooms, yeast, etc. These are the examples of fungi. Now our plantae. Now moving to next is our plantae. So the cellular organization of plantae is eukaryotic, and the body organization of plantae is multicellular. As we can see, the plants are very tall and very big, hence it has many cells and it is also called multicellular. And very important, the cell wall in plantae is present and it is made up of cellulose. Now, as we all know, the mode of nutrition of plantae is autotrophic, as we all derive our food from the plants. So, now these are some basic characteristics of plantae group. Now, further plants are divided into many categories. So, let's see them one by one. Plantae, and it is divided into two categories on the basis of differentiation. If their body is differentiated and not differentiated, and differentiated. If the body of the plant are differentiated, then it is called as bryophyta. In bryophyta, the body plantae, the not differentiation means that the roots, leaves, stems and flowers are not differentiated. The thallophyta are commonly known as algae. Now next is differentiated. So these are further divided into two categories, that is xylem phloem present and xylem phloem absent. Xylem phloem present and xylem phloem absent. Those which have differentiated body parts and xylem phloem absent are known as bryophyta. These plants don't have any vascular tissue for transportation of food and water. Now those organisms which have differentiated body parts and have xylem and phloem present are further divided into two categories. That is they produce seeds or not. Seeds produce and do not produce seeds. Those organisms which have differentiated body parts, have xylem phloem present and do not produce seeds are known as petridophyta. And those which produce their seeds are known as phanerograms. Now phanerograms are further divided into two, that is if they have naked seeds or they have seeds inside the fruit. So those plants which have naked seeds are known as gymnosperms, and those have the seed enclosed inside an outer covering, that is known as fruit, is known as angiosperms. Now further, the angiosperms are divided into two categories, that is monocots and dicots. Monocots means those which have only one cotyledon, and second dicot means that have two cotyledons. Now let's see one by one carefully. There are basically, first is thallophyta, second is bryophyta, third is petridophyta, fourth is phanerograms, fifth is gymnosperms, angiosperms, monocot and then dicot. So let's see one by one. So first we will discuss about thallophyta. Thallophyta are basically called as algae. So algae, all the types of algae are into thallophyta. Algae are considered as a type of plants. Now in the body design, so the body design of algae is not differentiated, it is undifferentiated. That means they have no differentiated roots, stem, flowers, etc. Now next is vascular tissue. So they don't have any vascular tissue also. So the vascular tissue is absent. Similarly seeds, so they don't have seed also. And about fruits and flowers, so if they don't have seeds, then they have no flowers and fruits also. So vascular tissue, seeds and flowers and fruit are absent in these organisms, and the body design of these plants are undifferentiated. Now next is habitat. So they are basically found in the moist habitats or aquatic habitats. So as we have seen some types of algae growing over the water. So these are aquatic algae. Some examples of algae are like Spirogyra, Althrix, Chara, etc. Now next is our Bryophyta. Phyta. The body design of Bryophyta is differentiated. Means they have differentiated body parts and have proper stems and roots. The vascular tissue is still not present in them. And similarly, seeds, fruits and flowers are also absent in them. The habitat of Bryophyta is both terrestrial and aquatic, and hence they are known as the amphibians of the plant kingdom. Very important, they are known as amphibians of the plant kingdom. They are known as amphibians of the plant kingdom because they basically found on the terrestrial lands and the moist areas, whereas to reproduce they require water, and hence they live both in terrestrial and aquatic areas. Now moving to next, some examples of Bryophyta is like Riccia, fern, etc. Now next is our Petridophyta. So Petridophyta, in this group, the body design of the Petridophyta is differentiated. Means they have proper stems and root. And in these plantae, the vascular tissue is also present. Means they have xylem and phloem present in them. They have proper transportation system in their plants, from roots to leaves and leaves to roots. Now next is seeds. So in these seeds are still absent, and that's the same that flowers and fruits are also absent. Now the habitat of Petridophyta is terrestrial. So the most common example of the Petridophyta is fern. Fern is a like unwanted plant that grow with the crops. So moving to next is our gymnosperms and angiosperms. Gymnosperms have a differentiated body parts, have vascular tissue present in them, they have seeds present, and the seeds are enclosed inside of fruit covering to protect themselves. To protect them, they are covered with a outer covering that is known as fruit. So that's why they have fruit and flowers also present. And the habitat is they are mostly found in all types of environment, all areas. Examples of gymnosperms are like normal plants, normal fruit trees. Example is like banana, mango, apple, grapes, etc. All these are categorized under gymnosperms. The next is our angiosperms. So the body design of these angiosperms is differentiated. Similarly, the vascular tissue is also present in them. Seeds are also present, but the seeds are not enclosed in the outer covering, that is fruit. So the fruits and flowers are not present in them, and they have the leaves are also adapted themselves as per the conditions. They have spiny leaves, and they have the fruits in them are present as cones or spines. So the habitat that they are present is like hilly areas that have very low temperature and snowfall. So these are the examples of angiosperms are like Christmas trees, fern trees, pear trees, etc. all are under the angiosperms. The angiosperms have a very fine wood that help in making of cricket bats. Now next is the angiosperms. The species of angiosperms are very less in presence on our earth. Now moving to next is our monocot and dicot. Monocot and dicot are present under the category that is gymnosperms. So monocot and dicot. So let's understand the meaning of their name. Mono means one and cot means cotyledon. Similarly, di means two and cot means cotyledon. So the monocot plants have monocot seeds have one cotyledon, while dicots have two cotyledon. But what does this mean about cotyledon? So cotyledon is a part of a seed that is like a bean shape. Some have two cotyledons while some have one cotyledon. So this one cotyledon is known as monocot, while the two cotyledons are called as dicots. Cotyledons are those which gives the plant nourishment when they are at the initial stage and they are seeds. So this is the part from where the seeds and roots appears. So the examples of like monocot plants are like are all under monocot, and monocot are examples are like rice, wheat, and mangoes, etc. are under monocot, while dicot are under like peas, grams, rajma, etc. are all under dicots. So how we can find out if an plant is a monocot or dicot if the seeds have two cotyledon or one cotyledon. So there are some characteristics that we can identify in a plants. First is that the vascular bundles of the plant in the monocot will be scattered randomly. If we cut the plant transversely, then we can see the xylem and phloem are spread randomly over the whole surface. So these are like monocots. And the dicots is they have the xylem and phloem and the vascular tissues arranged in a form of ring. So these are all dicots. Second way we can identify is by looking at the leaves. This is the most easiest way to find out if the plant is a monocot or dicot. If the plant's leaf is have parallel venations, if the venation will be parallel, then it will be monocot. And if the venation will be like a net-like, then it will be known as, it is called as, if the venation is net-like and reticulate, then it is called as dicot. Now next we can understand by looking at their roots. So if the roots of the plant is fibrous, means they don't have any main root and they are spread like that, are called as monocot. And those which have those have taproot like organization are known as dicot. Means they have one main root, and many small branches of this root will be come out. So these are dicots. So example of monocot is like onion. As we can see, they have fibrous root system. The venation is also parallel. And example of dicot is like gram, gram and peas, which have they have a taproot system, and they have reticulate venation. So that's all for today. Thank you.